access keys to the truth. And in today's video, we are going to discuss which language the book of Enoch was written in originally. The book of the Watchers, as it is called many times, is the first book of Enoch. And, some people would say it's very hard to determine the original language. Some people would default and say, hey, it was written in Hebrew, or it was written in Aramaic, or maybe in some lost, forgotten tongue. And I would say that I do not have enough evidence yet to make a definitive statement, but I do have compelling evidence. It's not definitive proof, but it's compelling evidence that the book of Enoch could have possibly been written in Sanskrit, of all languages. So that was pretty astonishing, and I'll show you here.
As I've recently found a possible connection to the visage of the first modern Western clown, specifically a costume worn by Joseph Grimaldi in the 1800s, and this strange-looking demon. But before we get there, I think it would be fun to first show how all-pervasive this particular demonic visage is for the area. Rakshasa is the regional umbrella term for a demon, and from a wholly biblical perspective, demons are the Nephilim. Therefore, Rakshasa demons are accurate depictions of Nephilim creatures, and they certainly have a very distinct and clownish look. All throughout India, the origin of the Rakshasa namesake, Rakshasas are often depicted as shape-shifting, fierce-looking, enormous, monstrous-looking creatures with two fangs protruding from the top of the mouth and having sharp, claw-like fingernails. Not to mention the bulging, manic eyes, bright-coloured skin, and rainbow-coloured embellishments that often accompany them. They were shown as being mean, growling beasts, and as insatiable man-eaters that could smell the scent of human flesh. Fee-fi-fo-fum, right? Some of the more ferocious ones were shown with flaming red eyes and hair, drinking blood with their cupped hands from human skulls, similar to representations of vampires in later Western mythology. Generally, they could fly, vanish, and had Maya, magical powers of illusion, which enabled them to change size at will and assume the form of any creature. These representations of human-reptile hybrids are by far the best examples of the Nephilim I found in my research so far, and this particular style does appear to be shared cross-culturally over thousands of miles south of the Asiatic equator, within cultures whose traditions revolve around the veneration, appeasement, and incessant fear of the heavenly dragons and the earthly monstrous potentates / offspring.
There you have it, guys. That's a great video that's done. I recommend that you watch it. Of course, I'm not endorsing that channel in any way, but it's a good watch. They have good content. I perhaps may not agree with all of the reviews, but at least this video is cool. I've come across that clowns are the Nephilim theory in the past, and it comes back here and there, and I would actually agree with it. So, and he makes a very good link between what the biblical name is for the children of the fallen, which is the Nephilim, and which also has its origins in Sanskrit. But I'm not going to get into that as well, because it comes from Nephala or Nephale, which also means a cloud, and it has a lot of other connotations and meanings, but that would be for another video. The point is that there's a direct link between the word Nephilim and Nephilim in the Hebrew or Aramaic and the Rakshasa in Sanskrit. Okay, so they are one and the same. They are the children of the Asura, or the fallen angels. And you can, read up on it all you want. These beings are depicted all over ancient temples in Asia. They're called, demons, and they are, children of divine entities that turned out to be demons. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out that they're talking about the Nephilim. So that video, kudos to them for making that connection. So this is, the Rakshasas, and you can get into it quite a bit, and why they're portrayed in today's world as they were brought back as these demon clowns, and no wonder. No, see, a lot of people have been making the connection through the years. no wonder people are afraid of them, or kids are afraid of them, because it's a demonic entity. And people see them in those psychedelic trips they have as well. You can find a lot of sources where the Nephilim is the Rakshasa. The Asura is not the Rakshasa. The Asura were their parents. The Asura were the actual fallen angels, the fallen heavenly beings. So that's a big connection right there. And so we haven't established yet, though, that the Book of Enoch was written in Sanskrit. But I'll show you the proof. Not the proof, but it's a strong evidence suggesting this. And it comes via the name itself, the Book of the Watchers. It's very odd, it's very peculiar, and it's always struck to me like, what do they keep talking about the Watchers? You know, and who wrote the Book of Enoch? Was it Enoch himself, or was it somebody that saw it in a vision? When was it taken out of the Bible? Was it ever really in the Bible? Why is it called Apocrypha? Is it even real? Like, did somebody just write it maybe in the 19th, 18th, 20th century? Who knows? There's a lot of questions, right? But it does have a lot of things in common with the Bible. It's referenced in the Bible. Genesis 6, is the pretty much the story of the Book of Enoch, the Book of the Watchers. And when you go and look at the book itself, you see, for example, in part 1, it mentions the word Watchers over 14 times. Over 14 times. And again, that's pretty peculiar. That's pretty uncanny. And that name is kind of strange. Why call it the Book of the Watchers? I mean, would it be like Watchtower? Watchtower. And it reminds me of Jehovah's Witnesses, which, I'm sorry if you are one, but they're a cult, and you can watch videos on that on your own time. If you have any comments, questions on the subject, feel free. I mean, this is an open forum for you guys to share your opinions, questions, etc., comments. So Watchtower and Watchers. And you can also look at my video on Nashville Exposed, and you can see what Watchtower is all about. But we have another connection here. The Watchtower is where the Watchers would be. But again, why do they call the angels Watchers? Like, are they just sitting there watching? Are they not doing anything? Do they not have, important work to do like we all do down on Earth? Let's see the other section. Section 2 has nothing on it. Section 3, this doesn't call them Watchers. Section 4 doesn't call them Watchers. Section 5 doesn't call them Watchers. So basically in section 1 of the Enoch 1 is where they have, a lot of the mentioning of the Watchers. And there might be other versions where they have it more prominently. But again, that just really stuck with me throughout the years, and I finally kind of nailed it, I think. And so it's very simple. You look at what is the word for Watchers in Sanskrit, and you'll have your answer right here. Look, Watcher. All right, Watcher. Boom, you have it right here. A Watcher is a Raksha. A Raksha. And if you watch my video on what X really means, the new name for that Twitter social media, you'll see that the letter X comes from the Sanskrit ksha, which is this one right here, ksha. It means a demon, and it means the end of the world. So a Raksha is a watcher. Get it? And a Rakshasa is a Nephilim. A Rakshasa is the Nephilim. Okay? So a Raksha is their parents, the Watchers. So this is, I would say, compelling evidence that the Book of Enoch could have very possibly been originally written in Sanskrit, or Samskritam as it is correctly called. Because simply the name Watcher is very, very peculiar. The Book of the Watchers It mentions watcher over and over again. And uh, this is called linguistic forensics. So whenever you speak, whenever you say something, um, there are certain words that you use that will tell about who you are, what your education was, how you were raised, what kind of background you have in like education, work, social, and so you can look at these things and you can find a lot of written between the lines stuff. So for example, just like they have forensics for people that with on writing, the style of writing, you can tell a lot about somebody's psychology from the way they write, they spell the letters, and you can also tell a lot about a book or a translation because of the choice of words, very simply. And so this choice of words, watcher, is a dead giveaway right there that somebody translated Raksha. Raksha, they translated Raksha into English, and it means watcher. And look, care, protection. Look what else, Rakshati, defend, guard, rule. Rakshasa is their children, which were the Nephilim demons. But Raksha, is a watcher. Somebody that's um, right here. There's so many. The protection, watching. The angels, the guardian angels, before they fell, were supposed to be watching over mankind. That's what led to the rebellion. Tutelary divinity, serving, a sentinel, secure protection. Okay, you see guarding. So whomever translated this could have translated this in several different ways, but they didn't. They chose a very peculiar word, which is the watchers, which is being used for the watchtower. You see, watcher, watcher. Okay, why did they choose that word? Because the wink, wink, they want to leave breadcrumbs for their future generations, so that they do not lose this occult knowledge, this hidden knowledge. They want to keep it away from you. They want to keep you blind and dumb and deaf, and acting like a dummy, as we all are, and they want to keep the goodies to themselves. So you see. So in Sanskrit, the Book of Enoch could have potentially been called Rakshasa Purana, or it could have been called Rakshasa Sutras, or something of the sort. And then when you translate it from Sanskrit into English, you get the Book of the Watchers. Okay, so this is my 2 cents, guys. You can take it from here. If you're doing a lot more research into the subject, you could go line by line. You could go word by word in the Book of Enoch and start finding more of these evidence, hidden evidence. And there's another thing. The Book of Enoch also talks about the coming of Christ, the elect, whom was veiled since the beginning of time from these fallen entities. And so they didn't know him. They didn't know about him. And so they think they know everything in their pride and prejudice, and that they don't know everything. They know a lot more than we do. They don't know everything, all right? So that's also something that led to their downfall, their vanity, and their pride and their hate and anger. All qualities that are demonic and not angelical. So ultimately led to their downfall. But again, very interesting and compelling evidence showing there's a very direct link between what is biblical and what is yogic, what is from the Bible and what is from Vedanta. They are one and the same at the source, and trying to separate them has been a strategy of the demons and their worshippers through the ages. But this is more proof or more evidence, anywhere, whatever way you choose to see it, pointing to the fact that Christ was mentioned in all these texts ages ago, thousands of years ago, and they have a direct correlation between each other. So, guys, I wish you the best. Have a happy Thanksgiving.